Okay, so we're going to do some more function evaluation and solving today, and also take a look at some graphs to make sure we're good on evaluation. You're going to want to make sure you have your Desmos calculator open again, um, as we are going to be making use of that. So let's go ahead and start with our first problem. So we've got g of y equals negative 3y plus 6. And I want to know what g of negative 2, g of 7, and g of w is. So that's something new for us. We haven't seen a variable. So remember, when we are evaluating, this is just substitution. Okay, it is just substitution. We're substituting in on the right-hand side for the y. So the first number they want me to substitute in is the negative 2. So negative 3 times negative 2 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. We're going to do it again. And again, use your parentheses, throw my 7 in. And let's go ahead and use our calculator this time. So negative 3 and parenthesis my 7, parenthesis plus 6 gives me a negative 15. And what is going to change this time? Well, this time I'm putting in a w. I'm putting in a w for the variable. So then am I actually going to come up with a number? No, I'm going to come up with another expression. I see that this, if I just simplify it, is negative 3w plus 6. I'm done. So if I'm asked to put in another variable, all I do is just put in the variable and then simplify. Now there's another type of problem on this, and that is if I give you g of y, which means I'm giving you the left-hand side. I'm giving you this instead of the right-hand side. So if I give you g of y equals negative 12, then all of a sudden the problem changes. I have negative 12 equals negative 3y plus 6. I have to solve for the y. So that's times negative 3 plus 6. So opposite is going to be starting with negative 6. Negative 12 plus negative 6 is negative 18, and a negative 3y. And I'm dividing by negative 3. Y is going to be a positive 6. Okay. Let's do some graphing of our functions and use that to kind of help us read the graph. So f of x equals negative 3x plus 1. Well, we know that our m would be negative 3 over 1, and our b would be 1. So I'm starting at 1. And negative 3 over 1, so 1, 2, 3, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And my line, let me draw a decent line here, is going to be coming right through those points. Okay, right through those points. Okay, and then let's do the same thing with our minus 2. Remember, this is my b and this is my m, so I have negative 2 as my starting point, and then up 1 over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1 over 4. And my line is going to be heading in this direction. See if I can get that one lined up a little more. There we go. Okay, so it's asking us to find what is the value when x equals 2 for each. Okay, x equals 2. So x equals 2 is here. So if I know that I'm looking for the value when x equals 2, I'm going to just come down and figure out where is the y value. So that point right there would have a y value of approximately 1.5. So the y on this one would be 1.5 when x is 2. If I come down on this one, looks like it's probably one more down below that. So one more is 1, 2, 3, 4, probably a negative 5. So the y would be negative 5 when x is 2. What about when x is negative 3? Well, negative 3, 1, 2, 3. I don't know where this one's going to be. I can't tell from the graph, but I could substitute it in. So negative 3 times negative 3 plus 1, that's 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So I can assume that my y value is going to be 10. And this one, I think I can tell because I have 1, 2, -3. I come down. It's right there. So it looks like it is also going to be 1, 2, -3, or a little bit below that. Okay, or a little bit below that. So if I take 1/4 times -3, that's a -2. This would be -3/4 minus 2, which would be -2.75. So it's pretty close to the -3, just not quite there, which is what my line actually shows. Okay, so now let's actually try to evaluate our function from a graph. Okay, from a graph. So f of 13, remember this is my x value. So f of 13 is here. So if I follow this 13 up, where am I? What is the y value? Well, that is pretty close to halfway between 2450 and 2500. So I'm going to say that is 2475. And let's go to f of 19. Well, 19 is here. So I'm going to come up. Well, where am I? I'm at 2050. I'm at 2050. Okay, so we can do the same thing going the opposite direction. Well, it says, what is f of x of 2050? Well, 2050 is here. If I come across, I see I have a point here and I have a point here, and they both look pretty close. This one maybe should have been 2055. 2050, probably the best answer is going to be what number's here. So what is halfway between 16 and 19? Okay, 16 and 19. So that difference is 3. So 19 minus 16 is 3. And I'm going to divide that by 2, which is going to give me 1.5. So 16 plus 1.5 is going to give me 17.5. All right, what about 2450? Well, 2450 is right there. So it looks like I have 1 point on 2450, and I don't have any other ones that are exactly on 2450. So that one, the x value is 12. So again, it's a matter of reading the graph, okay? If I said f of x equals 1900, I'm going to come across to 1900. I'm going to look for a point that is exactly on the line. There it is. I'm going to come down. What's halfway between 22 and 23? 22.5. And that's my x value. Okay, that's my x value. So use that to kind of guide you as you're working on your homework today. You're going to have some graphs to read and some evaluation to do, and reach out to us if you are struggling. Oh, we got one more. Let's finish this one up before we wind down, because it is a word problem. It says you have $124. You earn $22 each time you mow a neighbor's lawn. The function s of x equals 22x plus 24, which makes sense because I already have $124. That's my starting point, and I'm going to earn $22 every time I mow my lawn. So what will your savings be after you mow 5 times? Well, this is not a total. This is my x. So I'm really wanting to know, what is f of 5? And since we're actually using s, it wants to know s of 5. So what is 22 times 5 plus 124? Well, let's figure it out. 22 times 5 plus 124 gives me a total of $234. Now, how many times do you have to mow to save a total of $300? Well, this tells me it's a total. So instead of finding the y value or the total, I'm going to I'm going to give you the total this time. So this is going to go on the left side. So 300 equals 22x plus 124. And solving this, I know I'm going to subtract 124. So 300 minus 124 gives me 176. And to finish this, I'm going to divide by 22. So divide 22. 176 divide 22. Whoops, got to type it the whole thing in there. 176 divide 22 is 8. So that means I have to mow 8 times. I have to mow 8 times to get a total of $300. All right, so see what you can do with your homework today. Reach out to us if you're struggling. You do have a concept check coming up, so make sure you're understanding.